So when they tell you that you're gonna die or that you need a transplant, you don't want to think it's real. When it gets harder and harder to go up the stairs in your own house, like, that's not good. My name is Mary Asher, and I am a St. Louis food and events influencer. I tell you all the best places to eat and things to do around St. Louis, and I have cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when I was about 2 years old. When I was younger, I didn't really feel sick. I didn't feel different. I was just taking pills when I ate. That was the biggest thing. I was able to do sports all through grade school and high school. I ran cross country and I did track during high school. And then I went away to college and I stopped exercising. And that's when I started to get more symptoms of cystic fibrosis and being sick.
Mary and I met freshman year at Mizzou. We became friends and started dating a little while after that. We were able to do pretty much anything. Nothing felt out of the ordinary other than she took pills when she was eating. That was my introduction to cystic fibrosis. It wasn't a big deal at the time.
I went to the doctor, my lung function was lower, and they're like, we need to start you on IV antibiotic. So in the middle of college, I started having PICC lines maybe once a year. I was never hospitalized, but I was getting PICC lines to do at home, which progressed from maybe once a year to 2 or 3 times a year. And in addition to that, I was also doing maintenance daily nebulizer treatments, so 2 or 3 different nebulizers twice a day while doing the vest twice a day for half an hour each time and holding down a full-time job. So I was working full-time and I was a full-time CF patient.
As time went on, as those breathing treatments became more and more necessary, as needing to use her vest became more necessary, reaching points where infections were harder and going from taking a pill to needing a PICC line, to then having to take supplemental oxygen was hard.
So during a normal CF clinic visit, part of that is checking your PFTs for lung function, and it had declined. So I was sent for a transplant evaluation. So going to a clinic, when you hear you need a transplant or having transplant evaluation and having cystic fibrosis, you know that transplant or death is your option. So that's pretty emotional. So the first time they mentioned that, it's like, this isn't happening, it's fine. I've always bounced back from having a lower PFT test. During the 6-minute test, where you have to walk back and forth, they check your oxygen level the entire time. I was told I needed to be on oxygen full time. And so it started off as just 2 liters and only turn it on when you're like walking back and forth throughout the house. And then it progressed to needing more oxygen and more time. I was going to work wearing my oxygen, and I would have customers ask what was going on, and I'd have to share a little bit of my story and say, I'm just fine, it's fine. But after a while, I thought I could get better by taking time off of work. So I stopped working in January of 2019 to focus on my health. I thought that if I went to the gym more, if I walked more, if I just did more, I could get better to go back to work. I was listed for a lung transplant in May of 2019. And then the very next day, they called and said they had a new set of lungs for me. I didn't really have time to process being on the list. I went down to the operating room. I was ready to go into the operating room. And then at the last minute they said, just kidding, that they wouldn't work out. And so I went back home. And then I was able to process, like, I'm not getting better. I'm gonna get a transplant, just not right now. And then another month later, I couldn't walk up the stairs in my house to get outside. I couldn't move. And so we called the doctor and we said, we need to be admitted. I can't breathe at home on my own. And so I was admitted to the hospital. I was on high volume oxygen, and I wasn't going to make it another 24 hours without a second chance at life. I think I was numb to it. I think I was ready to die. So if it worked out, it worked out, but if not, I was ready. And then they had a donor. There was another call while I was in the hospital for a new pair of lungs. I had a hard recovery. I was in the hospital for about 30 days after I had my lung transplant. But then I got better day after day. I went to physical therapy every day for 3 months where I learned to walk again, where I learned to just like live again. So now that I've had a lung transplant, I've kind of traded having CF in my lungs for still having CF, but just having a new medical stuff I have to manage. So I still have CF in my body. I still take medication for digestion and for acid reflux, but I'm also taking an additional handful of medication morning and night for anti-rejection so that I don't lose my new lungs, so that I stay healthy. So after my transplant, the life expectancy was, I was told, 50% of the people make it 5 years. So that was another milestone that I had to get past. And so now it's been over 6 years since my lung transplant. I am living every day to its fullest. And so my husband and I, we are doing something every night, which looks exhausting to some. And it is exhausting, but we are having fun every night. You never know when it's going to be your last day, so every day you should make it count. We're actively involved with the foundation and raising money for research. Hopefully finding these new medications, it would lead to a cure and more people won't have to go through what I've been through. Having a transplant is not easy and it shouldn't be the only resort that we have. So finding a cure would be the better option. By supporting events like this and donating to the cause, you are making a difference in helping us find a cure during my lifetime.